I'd like to call the meeting in order, please. Roll call.
Councilmember Howard. Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Wiggins.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Provenport.
Here.
And Mayor Davies.
Here.
Councilmember Howard is absent tonight.
Great. If we could all rise for our invocation tonight, given by Kyle Phillips from the pastor of the Grace Fellowship Church.
Do I gotta push something here? You should be set. You were set. Check 1, 2. I invite y'all to pray with me. Lord, with this turn to fall, I'm reminded that, man, you are in charge. Lord, you order all things. Lord, you're a God of righteousness and justice. And I just ask that the sense of your presence and your peace would be with us tonight. Lord, that deliberations would be taken with a deep sense of your righteousness. Lord, you are with us, and for that we give you thanks. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Susan, would you lead us in the pledge?
Ready? Begin.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Community engagement reports, Mr. Steve Budge.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's with great pleasure we get to recognize members of our community again tonight. And what I'm going to do is also here in the audience representing our other government agencies, representing Supervisor Zach Scribner, we have Laura Lynn Wyatt, representing Assemblyman Vince Fong, Marisol Goni, and Senator Shannon Grove, Dominic Hayden. All are going to join you, Mayor Davies, in recognizing Troop 3. But what I'd like to do is actually invite Claire Scotty, the Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce, who made this recommendation to us, to actually share why she is making this.
Okay, thank you. Claire?
Good evening, Mayor Davies, council members. Thank you for having us here tonight. I wanted to recognize the integrity and the thoughtfulness and the perseverance of a group of individuals in our community with the Boy Scout Troop 3 here in Tehachapi. On August 19th, the first day of the Mountain Festival, Tropical Storm Hillary decided to rain a little after our parade. And within minutes, it was pouring down rain. Equipment and vendor fare was all getting very wet, very ruined, very quickly. And the Boy Scouts didn't even think twice. They put their heads down. They saw what needed to be done and where there needed to be help. And they did it. No questions asked, no complaining whatsoever. They helped the chamber get a lot of the furniture that couldn't get wet. They helped pack that away. That was a lot of time spent, a lot of manpower and boy power spent trying to rescue a lot of that furniture. And then they would also look out and they saw vendors who were really struggling, trying to get all of their wares back in their vehicles and so that they could get home safely. And there was one vendor in particular where all of her wares just collapsed onto the ground. And within seconds, the troop was out there helping her and getting everything in the car within minutes. So seeing that, I want all of us to recognize that level of integrity and really celebrate that tonight. So, thank you.
And what I'd like to do is I'd like to invite all of our elected officials to come forward, the representatives to come forward, here to join Mayor Davies. I'd like to invite our Boy Scout Troop 3 and their pack leaders or their troop leaders to come forward. Come on, yeah, come on. And I'll have you guys, the Boy Scouts will take, you guys will kind of fill in right in here, if that's okay. And then we'll have you guys swing this way. There's so many of them.
Swing?
Get in there, yeah. Okay. We want to get some photos, and first, let's tell you what. Let's each of our representatives. Garrett, how did you want to receive on behalf of the troop, or do you?
We have a senior patrol leader, elected senior patrol leader. This is a youth-led organization, so we're going to put him on the spot.
Can you quickly just introduce each of the scouts to the audience, please?
Sure. So, we'll start right here. I have Mr. Dave Sanders, Assistant Scoutmaster. I have Jack Jones, Dan Seiler, Aiden Sanders, Sam Jones, Max Jones, Maverick Kendrick, and Theobald. Thank you. He's from France. He's visiting us, and he's decided to as an exchange student, and he is part of our troop for the school year. It's outstanding.
And this is Garrett Kendrick, and you are the troop leader?
Scoutmaster.
Yes. Scoutmaster. So, okay. How about a nice round of applause? Step forward, and if you could, let's start with Laura Lynn, or Claire. You have something on behalf of the chamber?
Thank you. All right. So this is our certificate of recognition for how well you guys you recognized the need, and without even thinking, you went out and you serviced our community. And so thank you very, very much. And this is a encouragement to continue throughout your life. So, there you go. Thank you very much.
Laura Lynn, representing our 2nd District Supervisor, Zach Scribner. Laura Lynn Wyatt.
Thank you, Keith.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Good.
Thank you to the Boy Scout Troop and the Chamber and City of Tehachapi for bringing this to our attention this evening and allowing us to participate. It's an honor whenever we get to recognize a group of esteemed men such as these. I have a certificate for you also, signed by Supervisor Zach Scribner, and it reads, "In recognition and appreciation for your community service, quick response action during Hurricane Hillary during the 60th Annual Tehachapi Mountain Festival." Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And representing Assemblyman Vince Vaughn, Marisol Goni. Marisol.
Good evening, everybody. We just wanted to say thank you on behalf of Assemblyman Vince Vaughn on a job well done. We definitely appreciate all your efforts, and way to go, guys.
Thank you. And representing Senator Shannon Grove, Dominic Heidi.
Good evening, everybody. Dominic Hyden with Senator Grove. There are many of these opportunities that come up throughout our lives when we can make a choice to make a difference. And I think that something that helps make that easier is when we have experienced great blessings from others ourselves. And we know what it feels like to, in our time of need, receive the help that we desperately are seeking. We're grateful that you provided that help to the folks at the Mountain Festival, and you made a difference for them, and I'm sure they will not soon forget it. Hopefully this helps to recognize all of you, and for you to recognize that we see what you did at that festival, and we're grateful for it. Thank you.
And representing the city of Tehachapi, Mayor Michael Davies.
Well, this brings it home. I have a Boy Scout, Cub Scout, District Committee Chairman, so I know what you guys are doing. I appreciate you guys. I was a Boy Scout myself. Just awesome what you guys did. You guys came, your leaders, your leadership, this will stay with you guys the rest of your life. I hope you continue this. Do we have any Eagle Scouts with us tonight? Great, fantastic. So I hope you all continue and get your Eagles. And that's a true sign of leadership when you become an Eagle Scout. So I'd like to recognize the Boy Scout Troop 3 from the city of Tehachapi and our council members and myself. A job well done. And I hope you guys continue on to do that. What I heard about it, I left a little early, so I was riding my scooter, so I wanted to get home before the rain, so I wasn't there. But when I got home, I heard about it. But I just want to tell you guys, awesome job. Thank you to the Scoutmasters and the leaders, and especially another thing that goes unfounded, thanks to mom and dads for helping you guys with your leadership. We had the Girl Scouts here a few months ago, and they sold cookies, but But, you know, hey, it's the Boy Scouts, so I'd like to honor you with this with a certificate.
Parents, if there's any parents that would like to take photo, you're welcome to come forward. We'll get the photo op. Yeah. Okay, everyone, let's kind of get tight. Oh, sorry.
Guys. Oh, yes.
Okay, you want to come a little bit left? Okay, hey guys, everyone up here, we're going to scoot you a little bit, going to my left, your right. Okay, go backwards, get nice and tight.
No, you're good. Keep coming. Keep still.
Okay, eyes right here for this. Okay, eyes here to the center. Okay, eyes to my right. This one, the last one. I think we're good. I think it's pizza time, guys.
I appreciate you guys, what you did. Great example. Thank you, ladies.
Very much.
Thank you.
This one out there for some of them, just a little bit. Thank you very much.
That's what makes this all fun, serving as mayor and get to be able to do stuff like that. It's pretty awesome, these young men and young women that we have that serve in our communities through all the different organizations. But it really means a lot to me with the Boy Scouts. Consent agenda. All items listed with the asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by city staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion if no member of the council or audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the city council concerning the item before action is taken. Do we have anybody in the audience who would like to have anything removed from the consent item, consent agenda? Seeing none. Council?
Motion to approve consent as presented.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hovenborn?
Yes.
Mayor Davies?
Yes.
4-0 vote, motion carried.
Audience and oral written communications, public comment. Do we have anybody from the audience that would like to speak? Or we have cards? Okay.
Yes, so there is a 3-minute limit, and I'll call them up in the order that I received the cards. We have Diana Rayo.
Yes.
She's a resident of Hickory, out in the city of Tehachapi.
Yes. I live on Hickory Avenue,
Okay.
and I'm here with the concerns of all residents of Hickory Avenue. I hit just about every door on Hickory Avenue, and she's going to give you a map that I drew. We have a new issue that has come up with the opening of Pinion. Traffic has more than tripled, and that's not even the problem. The problem is the speed, where I can't even get out of the driveway. I had a neighbor when I was in my backyard, and he was screaming, "Stop, slow the F down." And I was in my backyard and I could hear him, and I thought, you know what, these neighbors are getting outraged already by the speeds of these cars. And there was also another neighbor across the street to check his mail, almost got hit, and he had a cane. Okay, it's really getting to be a big problem. So my proposal is stop signs, because policemen can't give tickets if there are no stop signs, because they're not really going to monitor the speeds. So I gave out my idea and what I discussed with my neighbors, ways to slow down the traffic, and it's mostly a stop sign on Pinion and Fig, a stop sign on Hickory and Fig as they're coming down. Then when they come all the way down the street, a stop sign on Laurel Drive. That one might affect you, Mr. Mayor, and Hickory. But that one should have really been completed long ago because that's only a one stop and it should have been a three stop. But if those stop signs are put into effect, I think it's not going to be fun for residents to fly down that street anymore. It's not even residents. I think it's just people from, well, they're residents of Tehachapi, but they're not from our area. They're just finding shortcuts is what they're doing. And I don't blame them, but they need to slow down is our big issue.
Do you notice any time, a special time?
Yes. Definitely school time, when they're going to school, when they're coming out of school. My husband goes to work at 4 in the morning. He said he even has trouble getting out of his driveway at 4 in the morning. So I think people must leave for work really early and just use that area too. And it basically traffic times, school ins and outs and when people are going to work and coming to work.
All right.
And they really, really fly down because I'll come down my driveway and when I'm down, they just go really, really fast. Because there's no signs, no stop signs. It's like a freeway. It's like.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have your number, contact information?
I will leave it.
Yeah, give it to Tori, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Diana, please take it right on. Okay, we have Reverend Angela Frazier. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. My name is Reverend Angela Frazier. I'm pastor and chaplain for the VPD, a volunteer for over 30 years. I partnered with Jackie Sullivan and In God We Trust America for over 20 years. Her mission was to place In God We Trust in city and county chambers. Tehachapi has been one of the benefactors of this. Some 6 years ago, I expanded the mission in a different purpose. The idea was to place In God We Trust decals on police vehicles and cars. My desire was to start at Bakersfield to see if there was an opportunity to go beyond Bakersfield and other cities and counties. As of today, Bakersfield has said yes, Shafter has said yes, Kern County sheriffs have said yes, Taft has said yes, Ridgecrest has said yes, Arvin has said yes, and with the leadership of Pastor David Davis, Delano and McFarlane have said yes. I stood at this podium 5 years ago with the invitation of local citizens to appeal for placement of the decals. That appeal was ultimately voted down for reasons still today I do not know. I stand here at the podium today with the invitation of local citizens to appeal again for the placement of decals. Why, you may ask? In uncertain times, we have always relied on the power greater than ourselves. In fact, during the Civil War, the Union supporters wanted to emphasize their attachment to God and to boost morale. And so In God We Trust first appeared on 2-cent coins in 1864. And on July 30th, 1956, the 84th Congress passed a joint resolution declaring In God We Trust as our national model. So, for our nation's patriotism and for our continued support of law enforcement, I ask that this proposal be placed on the future agenda. On this journey, there have been many open doors and some obstacles. Sadly, I've been told that if the decals are placed on the police vehicles up here, that the possibility of harm could come to the officers. That is highly unlikely, and with nearly 1,000 vehicles placed on vehicles in this county, there's not one instance of violence. And if that is a genuine concern, and I sadly suggest that you remove the In God We Trust in this chamber for the safety of the city council members. I would also add that the money in your pocket may also put you at risk. And in closing, I hope to come up and play pickleball with the chief. Thank you.
Okay, we have Dana Christensen from Golden Hills.
You're tall. I feel like a midget after that. Good evening, City Council. Good evening, Mayor Davis. I come to speak to you guys I'm out of Golden Hills, like she said. Yeah. On the same subject. I'm a disabled veteran. Okay, I spent my time in places that most people don't ever want to know about. And I've done things that I don't want to know about. The one thing that got me through was a very small, 2-inch wide, 3-inch tall, 3/4 inch thick Bible. It was sent to me by my mom when I was in boot camp. Because the Bible that I took with me, they said I couldn't take with me. That it was put with all my gear for later on. That Bible I have sitting in my garage right now on my workbench. It has gone around this world twice with me. It has been in many different countries, many different cities, many different counties. It's been in places that it has gotten me out of. As you can tell, you can't beat God, okay? This is how I live my life. And most people, it's okay, whatever people believe. What do I believe? I believe that when the time comes, everybody will have a final conversation. What we put on our cars, which you have on your wall, which you have on your table, in God we trust. That's where we have to put our trust. Because there will become a time when there will not be a warrior to come and save you. There will not be a warrior to come save me. All I can depend on is the Savior that I know and trust to save my life. So I strongly urge you to please take this subject up and seriously think about it. I do not believe that any officer at all has ever been harmed. Now, you may be able to prove me wrong, but I doubt it, because that's on their card. And I do believe that a lot of them feel safer knowing that it is there, because I would be willing to bet that if you go through all of your officers, you go through the sheriffs of the other cities, a lot of them do believe in God. So with that, I will retire, but I really appreciate your time, and I do please ask you to consider the situation.
Thank you.
Laura Steinke from City of Tehachapi.
Hello?
It's playing now.
Hello? Is it on?
You're gonna have to, yeah, be right on.
Hi, my name is Laura Steinke, and I'm happy to be here tonight talking to you guys about, in support of the In God We Trust motto being placed on our police vehicles. I want to talk first about the motto. It's our national motto, and so it's very important to our country. It's also on our currency, and so we see this motto in so many different places. I also wanted to, kind of reiterate what Pastor Angelo was saying, in that several city councils have already given their okay for the decal be placed on the police vehicles, and a number of cities already have the decals on their vehicles, and so this might be kind of reassuring to the council in that. Oh, should I start?
No. Continue. Go ahead and continue. We'll double mic you.
Double mic. Okay, now you can hear me. So a number of cities already have the decals, and that's been going really well for them. And so that's kind of maybe reassuring to the council, because you can look at their example and see how it's going for them, and might, give more confidence that this is a good move forward for our city. I also wanted to mention that I have pulled up an article on Sheriff Donnie Youngblood, and he had said that it was allowable. So this article is right here. I can pass this out to you guys. And so he said the decals are allowable. He's very much a Kern County person, and he's going to know. He's going to be able to give good guidance on this. And so we just have all of this evidence that the motto would be a good choice for the city of Tehachapi. And so I think it's a great time to take some positive action and get the proposal on the agenda. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alan Lee from Tehachapi.
Good evening, council members and mayor and the rest of the table. So I'm Alan Steinke. I live in Tehachapi, and I'm here also to voice my support for this appeal from Pastor Angela about placing "In God We Trust" on the emblems of our police vehicles. And I don't have too much to say following what they have said. I just wanted to get up here and express my public support for this, that the council members take this up for consideration at a future meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Todd Willing from Stony Springs.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everybody. I spent quite a few years in the military, and there's a saying that there's no atheists in a foxhole. And, you know, one of the things that we draw inspiration from in the military is the flag, but also a trust in God, because if you're going to go in where someplace where it's really tight and it's going to get tense and everybody's adrenaline's running, there ain't no atheists in the bunch. I can guarantee you. I've been there. But I'm not going to rely on me. I'd rather rely on what the Word said. And He said, it is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. And that's Psalm 118:8. God bless y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Pastor David Vivas from Toledo.
Good evening, council members. Pastor David Vivas of World Harvest in Delano. And in April of 2019, I approached the mayor of the city of Delano at the time with this idea of placing the national motto, "In God We Trust," on our police vehicles. And our city council immediately approved that idea. The reason why I approached our city council with that request is because I began to see that other law enforcement agencies across the nation were doing this. And then besides, this is our national motto. The American flag is our American flag. On July the 30th, 1956, President Dwight Eisenhower signed into law that "In God We Trust" would be our national motto. And so it only makes sense. You can see it in the diocese, you see this in the chamber. It only makes sense to put this on government property. This is not to say that this is a violation of the Establishment Clause, because that argument has already been challenged, and it goes to show that government is not trying to force religion down anyone's throat. If anyone does not want to believe in a deity or subscribe to any religious ideology. But this is our national motto. It is a sign of patriotism. And so when President Eisenhower signed this into law, this isn't the first time that this idea came to government. As Pastor Frazier said, in 1864, this was placed on our 2-cent coin. I'm a coin collector, and I happen to have some of those coins. And although it was not our national motto, but yet this carried on into other coins, even into the 1880s, 90s, and so forth. But this is our national motto, and I believe that we should embrace it fully. Now, I did hear the rumor all the way in Delano that someone said that if we put this on the patrol vehicles, that it will somehow make police officers feel unsafe, or make them unsafe. I hope that was just a rumor. So I was very curious. I called a good friend of mine from the district attorney's office here in Kern County, and they indicated that there has never been such a threat because the national motto was placed on a patrol vehicle. So I would just ask, I hope that that is just a myth and that's not factual, because this is something that we should wholeheartedly embrace as American patriots, as people who love our nation, people who love our Constitution. All our rights have been endowed to us by our Creator. The Founding Fathers knew that very well when they wrote the Declaration of Independence, where they made reference to our Creator 4 different times. So we should continue on with that tradition. Again, that is not to say that the city of Tehachapi or any other city is trying to force people who may be non-theists or atheists to accept God. It is law. It is our national model, and I hope that this city council will sincerely and embrace it wholeheartedly. Thank you so much for this time. Thank you.
Lori Cisneros from Alpine Forest.
Good evening. My name is Lori Cisneros. I am a trustee on the Kern County Board of Education. I'm also a resident in Tehachapi, and tonight I'm speaking as an individual community member. A couple weeks ago, I was informed that Tehachapi has not approved the In God We Trust national motto to be added to the patrol vehicles. To this date, as Pastor Frazier and other people have already mentioned, Delano, McFarland, Bakersfield, Shafter, Taft, Ridgecrest, and Arvin have all approved this motto and have already placed the decals on the vehicles. In fact, Delano was the first police department in the state of California to add the national motto. I just want to note that the crime rate in these other cities mentioned is much higher than Tehachapi, so it's hard to believe that this would be a threat to our police officers. In the words of John F. Kennedy, the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God. And as already mentioned, on July 30th in 1956, President Eisenhower signed into law the establishment of In God We Trust as our national motto, but it is more than just a motto, as it's already been said. It is our country's foundation and an important part of our identity as Americans. I am asking that you put back on your agenda the action item to approve the In God We Trust decal for the Tehachapi patrol vehicles. We must protect our religious liberties. That's how we make sure that this country is not dismantled by those who want to completely eradicate God from our history and from our future. By placing In God We Trust on our patrol vehicles, we are displaying our city's patriotism and our stance in protecting the United States motto. President Ronald Reagan once said, "If we ever forget that we are one nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under." Please join the rest of the cities in Kern County and place this fundamental American motto on our patrol vehicles. Thank you.
Thank you.
Craig Luther from Bear Valley Springs.
Hi, pull this out of my pocket. My name is Craig Luther. I've been in Tehachapi. My wife and I are residents here for 22 years. And I'm also up here in support of placing In God We Trust on our police vehicles. And I want to begin here in a real positive way. From Psalm 33, "For our heart rejoices in him because we trust in his holy name." And Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." Which leads me to a key point. I don't have to tell any of you that in the last 10 or 15 years, this country has gone completely off the rails. I could go into what's going on in our big cities. I could talk about our schools and what our kids are being taught. I could talk about the cowardice, collective cowardice among our politicians. But most of all, what I want to talk about is that word in that proverb, paths, will show us the path. Too many Americans, particularly young Americans, are off the path toward righteousness and justice and what comes from a love of God and our foundational Christian beliefs. And maybe it's just a small thing to put in God we trust, which is in my pocket, in their pockets, on our police cars. Maybe it's just a small thing, but the only way we are going to turn this proverbial ship of state around before it hits the proverbial iceberg is if we as a nation, one point of light at a time, begin to turn back towards God and our fundamental Christian values and Christian beliefs. Because there are so many people out there now who essentially believe in nothing. They're just empty shells, which is why they are buying into all kinds of horrific philosophies. And the only way, again, to change this is if we do our part. We cannot let ourselves be pushed back, continually pushed back by these people any longer. The neo-Marxists, the atheists, who literally are pushing us back until they want to push us up the ledge. I've reached my point where I'm putting my feet in the ground. And like Martin Luther, supposedly an ancestor, I've been told, but I don't really know, though I visited his church, and it is quite something. Here I stand, here we stand, and we're taking no step backward. We're proud of our love and trust in God, and we think we should promote that trust and our love in God, and not be the least bit feeling like we shouldn't be doing this. And putting it on our police cars is, again, a small step, but it's a big step in the right direction. Thank you.
Anyone for this? Is there anyone else who wanted to speak to us?
Is there anybody else in the audience who would like to speak? Yes, ma'am. Could you announce your name and your area of residence, please?
Okay, my name is Gail Purdy, and I live in Golden Hills, Tehachapi. Been here 18 years. I love this town. But what I love about it, most about it is the courage of the people who live here. And if we don't stand for what's right, we'll fall for anything. And that's what's happening all over California. So I ask that Tehachapi take a stand. You guys, I want to say lead the way. We're up here on top, so we can lead the way. And people can come through Tehachapi and know that we stand for what's right and for liberty and courage and freedom and truth and values. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comments from anybody? Yes, sir. Please state your name and your area of residence, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, Council. My name is Cody Carr, and I'm a resident of Stallion Springs and also a local Christian pastor. And I just wanted to come and support, as others have, for the In God We Trust to be put on the police vehicles. I could say, though my dad is not here today, he's alive, but he's just not here in this room. He lives in Bakersfield. He served Kern County Sheriff's Department for 22 years with the Gang Task Force, Bomb Squad, FBI, working undercover, doing various things. And I could tell you on some of the stories that I've heard from him, if it wasn't for God, he doesn't believe his personal opinion that he would have ever gotten out of that place alive. And now he's taken the path forward, now that he's retired from the Sheriff's Department, to serve the Lord Jesus Christ and now reach out to other officers who are dealing with so many things from just depression, anxiety, and all this stress that they can't really take home and let anybody know about. And so he's kind of doing that. He started something called Bibles for Badges, and it's been a beautiful thing. But it just as so many have said here, again, I'm here today in support of In God We Trust. And there's only 2 verses I would just like to share with you. In 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 13, God says, if I shut up heaven that there's no rain, if I command the locusts to devour the land, or if I send pestilence among my people, which is disease or sickness. He says, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves, pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, I will hear from heaven, I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any other public comments from the audience? Okay, I see none. We'll continue on with Finance Director reports. Number 8 is me. I'm an employee of RSI Petroleum, so I need to recuse myself, and I'll have Mayor Pro Tem Hogan Court take over the meeting.
Okay, are there any comments from the audience? Audience comments? Council comments?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Roll call order, vote, please.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hogan?
Yes.
It's a 3-0 vote with recusal from Mayor Davies.
Number 9, Development Service Staff introductions, information only.
Sorry, took a long way. Good evening. I've got a number of things for you all, Mayor, council members. The first is just a positive thing. I'd like to introduce a couple of new staff members in the Development Service Department to you all and the public. The first is Salvador Morales. Sal, you here? There he is. Come on up here just real quick. I'm not going to make you say anything, but
Don't believe him. He can make it.
so Sal joins us from rural Vermont, believe it or not. So he's a native of California, grew up in the Antioch area, and then went to school at UC Davis, which is my alma mater, proud, and graduated in 21, and then spent a couple of years as a planner in New England. And so we were happy to have him. He's expressed a desire to head back to California, and so we were happy to grab him as our new planner. So you're going to see Sal's names. The Planning Commission will definitely see his name on reports, but just wanted to welcome him and introduce him to the council, and thank you. We've got plenty of work to do. So, very good.
Welcome, Sal. Thank you.
And then I have one more for you all. So if I can get Andrew, come on. Bring your beautiful family up too. So you guys know Andrew. He's come up and given a few reports when I've been. So Andrew's been with the city for 7 or 8 now? 7 years. He joined us as an assistant engineer, got his professional engineering license in 2018, and you guys may not know it, but for a number of years now, he's been managing every capital project here in the city. So we're going to talk a little bit about a few here later on this, but happy, Greg and I spent a little time road mapping this, but very happy to announce that he is your new city engineer. So I was holding both positions as development director and your city engineer, and so now I get to only wear one hat, which is a nice relief for me. And we've asked Andrew, who is a vested community guy. So how many years out of school? 2012.
Yep.
He's a graduate. And then spent a couple of years working for Cal Portland. And then a couple of years for a company called Soils Engineering, who we work with, who does geotechnical engineering, and then he joined us. So anyway, and so, yeah, he's got his family. Anyway, so
Thanks
thank
for
you.
the opportunity.
Yeah, very good.
Thanks, Andy.
All right. So thank you for letting me do that. I just wanted to make sure you'll see Andrew more, I think, as different items in his purview come before you.
Item 10?
Yes, sir. All right. So item 10 is the Brentwood Drive Pedestrian Facilities Project. And so this is one of those items that Andrew's been shepherding. So the City of Tehachapi was awarded funding in the spring of 2022 through the TDA Article 3 program administered by Kerncog. This was a grant in order to complete pedestrian facilities on both sides of Brentwood Drive between Curry Street and Oakwood Drive with a new ADA compliant sidewalk, fixing curb and gutter. We pursued that design and prepared to bring this project into construction in this month. We began advertising in August and opened bids on September 12th. Unfortunately, this is another victim of inflation. We've had a few of these in the last few months as I've brought projects to you. As inflation is really landing on our projects, it's affecting budgets that we set a year or two ago or longer even. We did get 4 good bids. Those 4 bids indicate that the pricing for this project is about where it belongs in terms of this is the real price. I think it was a good bid climate. But these bids are approximately $200,000 over what we had estimated to construct this project and what we had budgeted for that, for what you all had budgeted with us for that process. So staff identified some possible directions to move forward. One is you could ask us to try to find funds just in the available city funds. We didn't actually identify those because that's not my recommendation tonight. You could also ask us or suggest that we reject the bids and downscope the project in order to try to deliver a project within the grant scope. And then thirdly, we could reject all the bids and forfeit the remaining funds back to Kerncog. But Kerncog, we've already spent about $45,000 on the design, and they would expect that money back. So that would be lost to us. So the engineering staff spent some time looking at the project and trying to determine if there are elements of the project that we could take out to bring the cost down. And we do think that we have some options for doing that. Not sure we're going to get it down to about the $280,000 mark, which is what the grant is worth. But we think we can bring it down substantially and then bring to you guys a mid-year budget adjustment to consider a revised scope. So my recommendation tonight is that you reject all the bids for the Brentwood Drive pedestrian facilities project and instruct the staff to downsize the project as feasible and present a revised scope and budget in the mid-year budget with the goal of going back out to bid in spring with a revised project. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Jay. Do we have any public comments on this item? Council, Councilmember Smith?
You mentioned a term 280. What's the amount that we're going to get reimbursed from current council?
About $280,000 is what the total grant was for from the TDA program.
Right, because you mentioned that it was $200,000 under the lowest bid.
That's about the delta. So we have about $280,000 from TDA. If we awarded the lowest bid to DoD construction, if you scroll back up Tori, just a little bit, that would be 404. And so if we add the engineering and the soft costs, and then we always go into our construction projects with a little contingency in case something unexpected occurs. Yeah, so it's about 480 becomes the total budget, and thus we have about a $200,000 overage. And we just felt like that was a little too far, especially if the project was stripped down all the way, we would be bringing you a different definition. But we looked at some of the elements of the project and talked about maybe whether city forces could do some pieces of it or whether we could postpone some pieces to a later date. And we think that we can save some money if we rescope the project. But you can't do that in this setting, so we have to reject the bids and then go back and update the design. And then again, I don't know that we'll get down to 280 for the total project cost. That's why my recommendation is that we may bring you something in the mid-year adjustment and ask for and identify some funds to help bring the two together. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We're all for saving money.
Thanks.
Same here, and just with today's climate right now, everybody's trying to get top dollar, so I can understand it. So need to have a motion. We'll have a motion to reject all bids on the Brentwood Drive pedestrian facilities project and instruct staff to modify and project as feasible and to present a revised scope and budget in the mid-year term budget.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hogan Court?
Yes.
Mayor Davies?
Yes.
4-0 vote, motion carried.
Item 11, we need to have a public hearing. Like to open the hearing, please. Jay? Or,
Is there correspondence?
We did not receive any correspondence.
Thank you,
And
Tori.
we will publish on September 20th in attached meeting for the public hearing notice.
Okay, very good. Report.
Yes, sir.
Now, Jay.
Very good. Yeah. Okay, so we've done this a few times in recent memory, so hopefully this will be old hat for you all. The City of Tehachapi established a community facilities district labeled CFD number 2017-1 for public services, which is a Mello-Roos community facilities district. The intent of this district is to provide a special assessment collected from properties within the boundaries of the district only that would be used for additional funding for police protection services, street maintenance, and landscaping as appropriate. So tonight we have a third annexation to this CFD. This particular project, and you all announced your intent to have this hearing back about a month and a half ago for the Pinion and Curry Condominiums project, or also known as the project. And it's two separate projects owned by two owners, Curry LLC and Pinion LLC, the two corporations formed by the owners. These two projects are generally located in the northwest and southwest corners of Curry Street and at the intersection of Curry and Pinion. And the project includes the development of 36 or 37 condominium units between the two developments. The boundaries of the annexations are within the assessor's parcel numbers that are listed there in the staff report, and there's an exhibit showing where they're located as well. We hired Wildan to help prepare the paperwork and the issue. So you adopted a resolution 4423 on August 21st that's set tonight for the hearing for this item, and then also effectively announced to the world the intent to proceed with this, and then to authorize staff to send ballots to the property owners so that they can vote yes or no on their entry into the CFD. Just as a reminder, once the annexation is complete, presuming that that occurs tonight, the property owners would become subject to a potential change in assessment in the 24-25 levy year, but again, only if the property develops between now and when that levy moment occurs. Otherwise, as long as the property stays vacant, there's no change in assessment. When it develops in the corresponding year, the levy would modify at that time. The estimated total revenue for the CFDs at this point would be about $37,000 for both properties if they were developed now and ready for that levy in 24-25. My proposal is obviously that we hold this public hearing, receive comment from the public, and then declare the results of the election by opening the ballots, and then to adopt the resolutions in sequence in order to effect this change. So if you'd like, I'll kind of roadmap you through this one step at a time. So we've opened the public hearing. As soon as I finish here, receive any public comment that you might have. And then when that's done, we'll open the ballots and see what they say.
Okay.
All right? So I'll stop now.
Do we have any comments from the public on this item? Council?
This question. Do we have any Mello-Roos on the books at the moment, or have they all been?
So technically, the CFD is a Mello-Roos. So the original plus annexations 1 and 2, this is annexation 3, are active Mello-Roos districts at this point. Those are the only ones I'm aware of.
Right, we've had some in the past, but they've all.
Yeah, Mello-Roos typically is a fixed, you most commonly see them associated with schools, where you might have a certain number of years that you pay and then it ends, and that money is spent by a school district to build a school. So that's what, at least I was familiar with that vehicle for. In this case, these are in perpetuity. And so this is a maintenance district, not a capital district, meaning the money is not spent on a capital purchase, it's spent on the cost of supplying these services forever in service to this development that occurs. So police and roads in particular.
Oh, yeah. Susan? I have no comments. Do we adopt these two resolutions separately? I'm sorry.
Close the hearing.
Yeah, so close the
hearing. Thank you.
And then, yeah, if you'll instruct the...
Tori, if you'll read the
go ahead and open the ballots.
Open the ballots. Thank you.
Because just as a reminder while she's opening those, it's a yes-no vote, and there's one for each of the two properties. If we get 2 no votes or 1 no vote, you may not proceed with the formation of the CFD. Now, the developer may not proceed with their development because this was a condition of approval of development, but we'll cross that bridge. Hopefully, we won't have that on there.
For the, it's a yes vote
Here we
for
go.
the Curry LLC.
Yep, so that, yes, the Curry one is the one in the southwest corner.
Would you explain to the public why we only have 1 vote for each property?
It's 1 vote per property. And
Because we have 1 owner.
one, and in this case, it's the same owner who owns the boat, yes.
And a yes vote for the main LLC.
Yeah. They own both pieces. It's actually 2 pieces. They own both pieces. They get 1 vote per property. So I had expected 2 yes votes, but you never know until we have it. So we've received both. So if you'd like, Mayor, I'll give you my first recommendation.
Okay.
So I suggest you adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Tehachapi annexing of territory, the Pinion and Curry condominiums to a community facilities district, authorizing the levy of a special tax and submitting levy of tax to qualified electors. City of Tehachapi Community Facilities District number 2017-1, Public Services Annexation number 3. And should we take them together, Tom?
You can take them together.
Okay, if you'd like, I'll go ahead. The second resolution, and you can take them by one motion, would be to adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Tehachapi declaring results of a special annexation election, determining the validity of prior proceedings, and directing the recording of an amended notice of special tax lien, City of Tehachapi Community Facilities District number 2017-01, Public Services Annexation number 3. So that concludes my report. I'm happy to answer questions. Otherwise, please proceed.
No, do we have any public comments?
You already closed the hearing.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Close the hearing. Yeah. All right. So do we have any comments from the public?
No.
There's not. I'm sorry. Okay.
Take a motion.
Okay. Can I?
So move.
Okay.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins? Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Hoganhourt?
Yes.
Mayor Davies?
Yes.
4-0 vote, motion carried.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Jay.
Yes, sir.
Item 12.
Yes, sir. So the next item I have for you is the ATP, which is Active Transportation Program, Dennison Road Bicycle Pedestrian Corridor Project, acquisition of right-of-way. So again, another item that Andrew has been tracking now for a couple of years. So we were successfully awarded an ATP grant on Dennison Road to install curb gutter and sidewalks to close 2 gaps between Tehachapi Boulevard and Pinion Street. And I think there's a map. Yes, very good. Well, that's where the right-of-way acquisitions are. That's also where the gaps in our sidewalk on the east side of Dennison lie. And the project involves in improving pedestrian walkways, crosswalks, and then providing, a signal crossing right at the center of the high school so that pedestrians wanting to cross from the east side to the west side or vice versa at the end of the day have a protected crosswalk with lights that would alert motorists that somebody is about to cross the road. So we think a pretty big and safety improvement for our kids going to high school there, as well as connecting the Dennison in these missing sections to the neighborhoods in the area. So in order to accommodate these improvements, we needed to obtain right-of-way from 2 property owners in order to widen the road and construct these facilities. And because ATP is this particular grant was a federal grant, we were required to follow the Brooks Act and Caltrans's process for right-of-way acquisition, which is a little bit more robust than some of our other endeavors are. So we've been working with a consultant who specializes in right-of-way acquisition, and we talked to the 2 owners. One has agreed to donate the right-of-way to us at no cost, and the other has agreed to sell, and we've determined a sale price and went through the process of obtaining signatures on their agreement. So we appraised that property in accordance, again, with Caltrans procedures and federal law to establish a fair market value, and again, worked with the property owners to effect that. So the result is listed there in a chart. Yep, those are the 2 APNs. Those are the prices and compensation associated with them and the property owners of said property. The cost for the right-of-way acquisition is included in the grant. So there is no cost to the city general fund. This is all part of the grant program. We had anticipated this expense when we sought this money. So I recommend you adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Tehachapi approving the purchase of an easement for public street utility and appurtenant purposes and accepting the easement for the Dennison Road Bicycle and Pedestrian Corridor project. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Jake. Do we have any comments from the public on this item? Council? Bill Smith?
Do we have sidewalks on the west side all the way through?
We have it in front of the high school on the west side, and we have sidewalk that extends down to Anita now, north to Anita.
But not
down.
from Tehachapi Boulevard to Anita.
Correct. We have there's a mobile home park there that constricts the road. That's not in the scope of this project. We're working on the east side of Dennison.
East side.
Correct.
All right, clarification. Yeah.
The thought process being that Ash Tract is north of the railroad tracks, and kids coming to school from that area currently don't have a pedestrian path. They can now cross the railroad because we improved the railroad crossing and provided a lane for them, but we're still missing this last gap. So now they'll have a protected walkway all the way to either JMS or the high school.
Great.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Cody? Okay. Susan? No, I think it'd be a great improvement for that. I know that mobile home park's been there for a long time. There's nothing we can do on the west side, but if we can improve the east side, I think this is what we should do.
Big step forward, yeah. So we're hoping to be in construction next season, next spring, summer.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Williams?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hogan?
Yes.
Mayor Davies?
Yes.
So 4-0 vote, motion carried.
Item 13.
Yes, sir. My final item tonight is again normal business for us, RSTP Valley Boulevard reconstruction project. So as you all recall, we entered into a contract with Griffith Construction for the construction of the RSTP Valley Boulevard Road reconstruction project. So we've completed our walkthrough and determined that all contract items have been completed. And so at this time, a notice of completion needs to be filed in order to close out the contract. So happy with this project. I hope you all are as well.
Yeah.
We have,
Nice job.
just as an aside, before I give my recommendation, we have put in for the next cycle of RSTP, which would be 2 years from now, to finish Valley from where we stopped at Beach to Tucker. Hopefully that'll be happening in the near future, but that's our next goal with RSTP funds. So I recommend you approve the notice of completion for the RSTP Valley Boulevard Road reconstruction project and direct staff to record the same. That concludes my reports.
Do we have any comments from the public on this item? Council? Bill Smith?
Just really pleased at the product they produced. Really nice surface and the speed in which they did it. It was very low impact to the people involved on that area. And did you have any complaints or pretty well worked with the?
No, we thought it went pretty well. It went as quickly as we'd hoped it would. The closure is obviously pretty inconvenient for everyone, but hopefully the shorter duration made it more bearable. But we feel like the product speaks for itself. That the other benefit of a closure like that is by clearing the decks, the contractor can do can do their best quality work. So we're happy.
Looks really good.
Yeah. Thanks.
Cody?
I'm just waiting for sidewalks and gutters on the south side.
I'm on it.
I mean, on the north side.
We're working on it. So, yeah.
I know you are. That's my dream.
Susan?
Nope.
No, I think it looks great. I travel that road every day. When they finally got it painted, it really stands out. So we need to look at that Beach Street. We need a turn lane on the Beach Street off Valley Boulevard. It kind of gets hairy right there sometimes.
Yeah.
A lot of traffic. So that's something we might want to look at, see if we can continue that on.
Yeah, I really need to get the road a little wider through that county pocket through there in order to do that. But yeah, absolutely have my eyes on it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Do we have any public comment on this item? Cool. See none? Okay. We'll roll call vote, please. Oh, I'm sorry.
Second?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hogan?
Yes.
Mayor Davies?
Yes.
4-0 vote, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Assistant City Manager reports, Mr. Costello.
We'll actually just hand this item off to Jay. He's on a roll. All right, Mayor Davies and council members, thank you. So as the council is aware, we had some items in the last meeting as well, but we continue to work through our state mandated regulations regarding SB 1383 and AB 1826 as they relate to mandatory organics recycling programs. Recently, the council approved a consultant agreement for a rate study and also compliance software agreements to assist in the implementation and the monitoring of these recycling services. We have an opportunity for some funding here. It's called the CalRecycle, or the California Department of Resources and Recycling and Recovery, CalRecycle. They've been allocated about $90 million in funding to assist local jurisdictions in the implementation of this process for new regulations. The Local Assistance Grant Program, it's non-competitive, it's pre-designated funding. We're eligible for $75,000 during this first round of funding. They do this every couple of years. As we said prior, the recent agreement with Minerva Software is part of our implementation and compliance program. It's going to assist staff in monitoring the service levels of our organics recycling and mixed recycling programs, mostly on the business side, a little bit on the residential side. The details of the program are attached to the staff report. That's what we sent CalRecycle. We will send CalRecycle when we do apply for this grant. The funding for the Minerva Software, our inspection program, and the appropriate staff time will be covered by this local implementation grant funding. This grant does, however, require that the governing body, you all here, of local jurisdictions, adopt a resolution authorizing staff to administer CalRecycle grants, also to apply for the grant funding. The attached resolution authorizes the city of Tehachapi to apply for all grants which are eligible for a period of 5 years. So I don't have to come back to you every year when these grants are available. You authorize the city manager or his designee to apply and administer these grants. So the application window for the current local assistance grant closes on November 15th, and our application is ready to go. As soon as we get this resolution, we can apply and get our $75,000. So staff recommendation tonight is to adopt a resolution authorizing us to apply for, accept, and administer grant funding from CalRecycle for a period of 5 years. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah. Do we have any questions from the public on this item? Council?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have no comments. Yeah.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hogancourt?
Yes.
Mayor Davies?
Yes.
4-0 vote, motion carried.
Thank you, Courtney. City manager reports, Mr. Garrett.
Thank you, Mayor Davies. Can you hear me okay? Congratulations to the Chamber of Commerce for the car show, the makeup car show on Sunday. My wife and I went down Thunder on the Mountain. Was well attended and a nice, safe car show. So congratulations to the Chamber of Commerce. Also, the Chamber of Commerce has been working with other East Kern chambers. They're going to be hosting an East Kern Chamber workshop in Tehachapi on Friday at the studio. So some of the Chamber of Commerce directors and board of directors, I believe, will be attending that workshop in our city. And then Senator Shannon Grove will be there also in attendance. And then Key Budge has set up a podcast with Senator Grove. So we'll be interviewing the senator in regards to the goings, ins and outs of Sacramento and what's going on in her world and in Sacramento. So we look forward to that. Station 12, our Kern County Fire Department Station 12 here in Prairie, received a brand new engine. So thank you to Kern County Fire Department for investing in public safety. I understand they've received about 8 new engines, anywhere from $800,000 to $1 million each. So we're really excited about receiving a new engine. Jay and his team and Andrew, they've started the DEF and Poly repave. So we've been talking about this project for a little bit. I know, is it Granite or Griffith? Granite construction is out. They started grinding today, and remember we're taking the grindings over to the alleys. Some of the alleys behind the H Street homes and businesses on the north side of town. Coffee with the Cop this is the annual national event, Coffee with the Cop at Starbucks in the Capitol Hills area. Starts at 7 a.m. This Wednesday. And Chief, if you wanted to talk about, we have three, is Chief here still, or did he walk out? There he is. We have three recruits that are currently in the academy, Kern County Academy, that will graduate soon and join our force here in Tehachapi. So say a few words about that.
Yeah, it's really kind of exciting. We had the first three cadets start last Monday, and they managed to survive their first week, from what I understand, and they're doing pretty well. And then one of the things we did this time that was a little different, Kern County asked for our assistance, and we assigned Officer McCombs as a training officer down there at the academy. And we thought that that was worth it, since the investment of sending those three young people through. We can get somebody down there at least once a week when he does a day down there with the Kern County Sheriff's Office to help out and have some hands-on availability to our cadets. And we want them trained right and back here ready to serve, and then have some good things coming up for council in the future, Jim.
Thank you, Chief.
How long the academy?
Right now, it's getting close to 6 months. We probably won't see them till almost February.
Okay.
So we've got to keep them motivated and keep them in our thoughts and get them going right.
And final update for you, TAR, Tehachapi Area Association of Realtors organization, they're big into volunteering. And once again this year, there'll be a litter pickup that they're heading on. That's on the 11th, I believe. And so we thank TAR in advance, but realtors and brokers in the community will be picking up litter, so we appreciate the assistance. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Council member reports. Councilmember Smith, do you have
I have nothing this evening.
Councilmember Hope report?
Just lots of activity in the area, in my district or beyond, with road paving, roads cut, closed, so on and so forth. So we're doing things, and that's a good thing.
I did have one. Yeah, go ahead. It was in your area as the resident on Oakwood. I think it was referred to Jay's department about speeding on Oakwood as well. So added to the list. It was in the 700 block. It's becoming a problem there as well.
Yes, sir.
All right. I put it online and it was referred to your department.
I probably have it, but I'll double check.
I don't see it
Okay.
that much.
I'm sorry?
I said, I don't see it that much.
Well, I think it's yeah. Every neighborhood's got.
Councilmember Wiggins?
I just wanted to say that we honored our Boy Scouts tonight, and I listen to people every day who call me or stop me in the grocery store and ask me what the world's coming to, and I have to, say I don't know. But tonight I know, not everything is bad, and I couldn't be more proud to have a troop in Tehachapi who just saw a need and took care of it. And I think we really need to hold on to our young people. They're not lost yet.
Thank you. I'd like to comment on the car show. I was there 10 hours. Got to give an award, the mayor trophy. That was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. There's so many cars there that I just walked around. I think I walked around the car show 5 times just to pick out the car I want, and I changed my mind 3 times. So it was pretty awesome. I heard a lot of public things. Everybody had a smile on their face, and you did such a great job on that car show. I think we had about 20 no-shows, I was told. I guess it was pouring rain in Bakersfield, big time. And so they said, if it's raining here, it's going to be raining up there. So they decided not to come. So shame on them. But we had a great event. I mean, everybody did a fantastic job. Just a tough job to vote. I never had an idea. I knew what kind of car I liked, but it was a crazy day. So, but all in all, I think it was a great event. Very happy to been a part of that. If we have nothing else, we will adjourn, and we have a closed session, and one of us,
Maybe ask that you put on the agenda the action item for a dog you trust for next month.
we'll discuss it.
Can you discuss it openly or?
No.
Okay.
All right, meeting's adjourned.